Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video this morning I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news. So this is of course your transfer daily show, keeping up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United and that, because we do know that more signings are definitely nowhere needed at the football club, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is orchestrating on recommending at least 2 signings in this January transfer window. But there again, it isn't assured that we will make many signings in this January transfer window and that, but it's very imperative that we do address the deficiencies in the squad. Of course, the 2 priority areas where we've got to strengthen up is that midfield, because obviously, we look very exposed in that midfield following the injuries to Paul Pogba and McTominay. We've got Paul Pogba out for 3 to 4 weeks. We've got McTominay out until February, and of course we need a couple of attackers in that. Someone who can assure us goals, someone who of course who can create chances in that. And there's possibly other areas in the squad as well that do need to be addressed. But like I said, our board are determined to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, despite for the vast majority of this season being inconsistent in that. So the first topic of the development I'm going to start with is Arturo Vidal and that. So recent reports have emerged out, and this is actually stemming from Chile, saying that Manchester United have expressed an interest in Vidal and that. I'm very sceptical that Man United will get Vidal. It also mentions that Inter Milan are in for him. It actually said a couple of days ago that Inter Milan were set to sign Christian Eriksen for around £20 million from Tottenham. Don't forget Christian Eriksen has also been on Man United's agenda in that. But now reportedly we're back in for Christian Eriksen, because reportedly Inter Milan are focusing on getting Arturo Vidal and that. But I'm very sceptical he will come to Man United. Vidal is a midfielder. He's very versatile. He can play numerous positions in that midfield. He's 32 years of age, so I have got element of concerns reflecting on his age. Obviously, he's had injury problems as well, so I would obviously have element of concerns about recommending him in to Manchester United. But he's 32 and he is, of course, aging up. Obviously, he doesn't fit the category of what Solskjaer wants to recommend him, because I think Solskjaer obviously confirmed that he wants to recruit young players to the football club. Players from age 25, from age 22, to age 25. But I can't see Vidal coming in. I think Vidal this summer has got 12 months left on his current contract, because I think he signed a new 1-year extension with Barcelona. But when Barcelona did officially sign him, I think he signed around a 3-year deal. Barcelona have had their overarching view on Vidal, and they are very convinced that he will not be sold in this January transfer window, despite the fact that his appearances have been limited for the vast majority of this season with Barcelona. Obviously, before Vidal was at Barcelona, he was at Bayern Munich. Before that, he was at Juventus. And when he was obviously a lot younger, he played for Coca-Cola. That's where I actually he began his career in that. But he isn't one of our main priority targets, like I said. But it just says Man United have expressed an interest in him. The Express recently came out and said we are actually leading the race to sign Vidal. So I don't really think there is a lot of minute, but there's been quite a few narratives coming out of the mainstream media about it this morning and that. So that's the latest news regarding Vidal. I also want to give you an update about Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. I have been keeping up to date with him quite recently in that, because don't forget last summer Man United were relentlessly linked with Sean Longstaff. But the reason why his transfer to Man United never materialised is because the club were not willing to meet Newcastle's valuation, because from my own perception, I think Newcastle were demanding a substantial amount. They wanted in the excess of around 50 million. Like I said, Man United were not willing to pay it. But I think we was actually determined to pay maybe 30 to 35 million pounds for him. Like I said, Newcastle and Steve Bruce has had his overarching view on the speculation. You know, he insists that Newcastle will not offload Sean Longstaff because from Newcastle's perspective, you know, they know how much of an imperative player he is, and that he's predominantly a box-to-box midfielder. Like I said, Sean Longstaff is 22 years of age, and that he's obviously proven in the Premier League, but I've got to say he has been a revelation for Newcastle. You know, I think he's played around 23 or 24 games for Newcastle, but like I said, very, very young. So the question is, you know, do you think Sean Longstaff would blend well in our midfield if he was to come in? I think he's still under contract with Newcastle until 2022 and that. But according to reports, if they are to be believed, now we've dropped our interest in Sean Longstaff. So maybe, you know, we're not going to get him in this January transfer window. Obviously, you know, he's been at Newcastle since 2016. Obviously, you know, he had loan spells there with Kilmarnock and Blackpool, you know, did Longstaff, but Solskjaer did say last summer that he was keen on recommending him in. So that's the latest news on that. You know, but I think, you know, the vast majority of players, you know, we was in for last summer. Like I said, it's more than likely this year, you know, we will reignite our interest in all of them. So I think, you know, we need at least 5 to 6 more signings, you know, if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. And of course, if we are to be up there challenging for major honours. I also believe that, you know, we need to focus more on the outgoings as well as the incomings, because I still believe there's more problematic players at Manchester United that do need to be moved on. And I know, obviously, you know, a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's rival, definitely. But I said overall anyway, I think, you know, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. You know, we need a change of management, we need a new board, we need a new chairman. You know, I said it would have been beneficial if we'd have got a director of footballing. That's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. And I think, you know, we also need to get rid of our coaches in that. So, yeah, like I said, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club, definitely. But from my own perspective, I think, you know, we're considering on spending a substantial amount this year on recruiting new players in. You know, obviously, you know, reflecting back last summer, you know, we spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire, and you can say, you know, they've all enjoyed a fantastic start to their Manchester United careers and that. But yeah, definitely know more signings are needed, and obviously, you know, our recruitment has got to improve, because our recruitment hasn't only been poor recently; it's been very poor for several years in that. So, other players that Man United are linked with, I updated you, of course, yesterday on the news regarding Bruno Fernandes. He's another midfielder on our agenda again. And what I said in the aspects of Sean Longstaff, you know, yeah, you know, it's the same, you know, with Bruno Fernandes. You know, we was relentlessly, you know, linked with him last season. We was also, you know, relentlessly, you know, linked with Bruno Fernandes last summer. But I think the reason we didn't get Bruno Fernandes is because, again, you know, we was not willing to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation, because, you know, we just wasn't. And but he actually, you know, was our number one priority target last summer. It wasn't only Man United in for him last summer. You know, Liverpool were in for him. City went in for him. Reports emerged out last summer that City were close to signing him, but obviously, you know, didn't get him. Tottenham came in for him towards the back end of the transfer window, and it reportedly said that his actual preference was a move to Tottenham. I think now Bruno Fernandes is rated at around £85 million. So if we've got any chance of getting him, you know, we're going to have to, you know, pay more than what we paid for Maguire, because, you know, we paid £80 million for Harry Maguire in that. I think Bruno Fernandes would be the right solution for Man United. You know, he's a very, very good midfielder. I think he's predominantly an attacking midfielder. But I think he's been a revelation for Sporting Lisbon, especially, you know, last season. I think now he's into his third season with Sporting Lisbon. I think recent reports did say that we have instructed scouts to Portugal, you know, to keep a close eye out on him. You know, but we have reportedly now revived our interest in the player. But I think if Bruno Fernandes came to the Premier League, I think he probably, you know, would be very reliable, and I think he would be able to replicate, you know, what he has been doing with Sporting Lisbon, definitely. But obviously, if he comes to the Premier League, it'll be like a new era for him. He'll be playing amongst different players and that. So it'll be interesting to see, how he would cooperate in the Premier League. Obviously he's not gonna, even if he doesn't leave in this January window, obviously, he's not gonna spend the entirety of his career from now on with Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, at some point, if it isn't this year or in this January window, he will want to move on to rejuvenate his career and that, and take his, footballing career to the next level, definitely in that. But he's a good player. He's 25 years of age, Bruno Fernandes, so he's actually nearly in his prime. Obviously, when he was younger, he spent the entirety of his career in Italy, with Sampdoria, Udinese, and Novia and that. But yeah, reportedly now Man United are back in for him. So these are a few alternatives we've got on our agenda now, because I think it's very unlikely that we're going to get James Maddison. Probably very unlikely that we're going to get Christian Eriksen and that. There's still a lot of talks going on about Jack Grealish, because Solskjaer, of course, is keen on recommending a number 10 in. I do believe Man United need a number 10, by the way, because, we've got a few players that can operate in that number 10, but I just don't feel as though they're good enough. You've got Lingard that can operate in the number 10, Mata that can operate in the number 10, and Andres Pereira that can operate in the number 10 and that, I feel as though Juan Mata's past it. Andres Pereira's too inconsistent. I think Man United have overplayed him this season. And Jesse Lingard, like I said, hasn't performed to the standards as we should expect from him this season. He's actually been very, very disappointing in that. Obviously, he's been out of illness recently. He sustained a few injuries earlier on this season. But like I've said on my recent videos, reflecting on Jesse Lingard's status at the football club, he should be putting much more better performances out and that. But Solskjaer's praised Lingard. Solskjaer confirmed that he's known Lingard for years, and Lingard's been at the club for several years and that. But his performances have definitely got to improve. Obviously, there's been recent reports coming out saying that we've allegedly bidded for James Maddison. We've put around £45 million in for him, and we are also determined to offer Jesse Lingard as part of the deal to recommend James Maddison in. I'm actually very sceptical that Leicester will go along with this. Very, very sceptical that Leicester will go along with this. Obviously, as I updated you yesterday, it did say, that we are eyeing a double transfer swoop for the Wolves duo, Raul Jimenez and Ruben Neves in that. Reportedly, Wolves have revealed what they would want for Raul Jimenez if they were willing to offload him. And reportedly, they want in the region of around £100 million. So if we've got any chance of getting Raul Jimenez, we're gonna have to, make him our most expensive signing, because our most expensive signing at the moment is Paul Pogba, who we paid £89 million for and that. I do like Raul Jimenez. Like I said, I think he's been a revelation for Wolves. I think he's played around 59 games in the Premiership this season so far and scored 21 goals. I think in all competitions so far this season, he has scored around 17 goals as Raul Jimenez. Obviously, Solskjaer hasn't really commented on the speculation that, because obviously, he's aware that Man United are linked with a host of players. But we are in for him. And Nuno Santos come out, the Wolves boss, and he admitted that Raul Jimenez could leave in this January transfer window. But Solskjaer did admit he was very, very impressed with his performance, in the 0-0 draw with Wolves in the Cup. He actually made an impact when he came on. He actually hit the crossbar. Raul Jimenez he's 28 years of age, so he's actually in his late 20s and that. But I actually think he would be a good adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, because you can say since their departures, we have looked very exposed in that attacking line, definitely, and he would have the more experience in that attacking line, would Raul Jimenez. But Raul Jimenez has not been at Wolves for that long. I think he's been a year and a half or 2 years. Wolves did get him on a permanent transfer. You know, I think they paid, was it around £30 million to get him on a permanent transfer. So if Wolves can get £100 million for him, obviously they'll make around a £70 million profit of what they paid for him. But I don't know. I'd be very sceptical that Man United would be determined to pay 100 million. But there again, you know, we're known for overpaying for players in recent years. You know, prime example: Pogba 89 million, Fred 50 million, Maguire 80 million. You know, we paid 75 million for Lukaku back in 2017 from Everton and that. So we are definitely, you know, known for overpaying for players. But you know, obviously before Jimenez was at Wolves, he was at Benfica. He also had a spell at Atletico Madrid. And he actually, you know, before that was in America's youth system and that. So you've got to say Raul Jimenez has emulated himself up over the years. He can create chances, he can score goals, he can hold up the play well. I think his link-up play is also very, very good. So I think, you know, he would, you know, probably, you know, do well if he did come to Man United. I'm also an admirer of Ruben Neves. I do like Ruben Neves a lot, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. He's around 6 years younger than Raul Jimenez, because Ruben Neves is around 22 years of age. You know, obviously, you know, Wolves is only his second club. Because before he was at Wolves, he was with Porto and that, you know, and I can't really estimate, you know, how much Ruben Neves would cost if we was to get them, you know, both at the same time. Then probably, you know, would obviously cost us over 100 million. Maybe we'd have to pay around 140, 150 million pounds for both players and that. So just wanted to take that into account. So that is your latest news regarding the transfers and all that. But you know, like I've said, you know, we're not only getting alternatives now. We've not only got midfielders now as midfield targets as our alternative. You know, we've also got a few alternatives on our agenda. You know, with attackers and that, because obviously, you know, it was Erling Haaland that was our number one priority target in that. And at one point, it was looking very, very imminent that Erling Haaland, you know, was going to be our first signing this January. And he was, you know, and he was going to be our fourth signing overall under the Solskjaer era. But obviously, you know, he's obviously now gone to Dortmund for just what, 17 or 18 million pounds. Obviously, we are aware it would have been a cheaper solution. But yeah, so he has gone to Borussia Dortmund. He was disappointed that we didn't get him in, because I think Erling Haaland, you know, probably would have done well in the Premier League. I think, you know, it would have been also beneficial to recommend him in, because he's played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance and that. But obviously now we missed out on him. Obviously, you know, where we missed out on him and all that, and yeah. As you all know, Man United go up against Man City tonight in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg, and we are all aware of how much of a difficult game it is going to be in that. Solskjaer has come out with quite a few interesting comments, by the way. He's actually, you know, praised Pep Guardiola. Solskjaer, from his own perception, you know, feels as though that he's raised the bar. He's also come out recently and made a comparison between Pep Guardiola and actually, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson, and he actually, you know, feels as though that, you know, Ferguson was more influential in the English game than obviously, you know, Pep Guardiola in that, because you know, Ferguson is, you know, the greatest manager, you know, in football in history, and that, you know, reflecting, you know, what he did for us, you know, because obviously, you know, he enjoyed what, 26, 27 years in Man United, Ferguson. You know, the fear factor was there, the winning mentality was there. I think we won around what, 38 major honours under Ferguson in total, including, you know, what, 13 Premier League titles. But take into account, you know, Alex Ferguson didn't settle in straight away. You know, when we recommended him in from Aberdeen back in 1984. Don't forget, you know, he didn't win out his first 4 years at the football club and that, and, you know, but look what he went and accomplished after that 4 years. He was absolutely fantastic, was Alex Ferguson. That, and you can say, obviously, you know, Ferguson transformed Solskjaer into a winner. Solskjaer, you know, was, you know, very, very good as a player under Ferguson. That, but like I've said on recent videos, Solskjaer's comparison to Ferguson, you know, Solskjaer is totally comparison as a manager to how he was as a player, because he's got that proven pedigree as a player. but he hasn't really got it as a manager. So that is my element of concern, and that, you know, he hasn't really got any managerial experience. Not really, he's not a top level manager. You know, Man United is the third club he's managing, because obviously, you know, before he became a Man United, he was at Molde. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with Molde, and before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, where he enjoyed a really short tenure, but he actually, you know, ended up getting sacked from Cardiff, you know, because obviously, you know, he got Cardiff relegated, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all that. But, you know, like I said, you know, we've got to, you know, beat Man City over these two legs. You know, the second leg at the Etihad is on the 28th of January, so that's towards the end of this month and that. So we do need to win this game. You know, we need to see a reaction from the 0-0 draw against Wolves. You know, because we have not yet won in 2020. You know, this is our third game in 2020, so we are looking for our first win in 2020. But we are capable of beating Man City. You know, don't forget, we did it earlier on in the season. You know, we beat them by 2 goals to 1 and that. And like I said, you know, this season anyway, we've seemed to have done very, very well against elite opposition and that. But, you know, we haven't really replicated it against the lower opposition, so you can take into account that is an element of concern. But, you know, the Carabao Cup's definitely, you know, a priority for us, because like I've said on my recent videos, it's the only chance this season we've got of winning any silverware, and it's very imperative that we get some silverware on the board, definitely. But I think, you know, in that aspect, you know, City will have the same perception that maybe the Carabao Cup's the only chance City have got of winning any silverware this season, because obviously, you know, reflecting on the league, City are not going to win it. You know, Pep Guardiola's given up on the title. I think, you know, Liverpool obviously, you know, going to win their first ever Premier League, so it's going to end their 30-year drought. You know, Liverpool, of course, are 14 points clear of Man City, plus with a game in hand. So City, of course, have given up their title ambitions, but City, of course, have still got something to play for in the league. Obviously, you know, the chasing runners-up. It's between them and Leicester for runners-up. They won't win the Champions League because they haven't even got a pedigree in the Champions League. I think they're actually, you know, seen to be very, very poor in the Champions League. I don't think they'll win the FA Cup this season either, so maybe their chances of winning out is obviously, you know, where the Carabao Cup and all that. But I've got to say, they've been very, very consistent in the Carabao Cup of Man City. They've been very, very consistent. You know, like I said, they've won it in the past 2 seasons. You know, they've beaten Chelsea, last season on penalties in the final. Obviously, you know, the season before they beat Arsenal 3-0. And City have won the Carabao Cup 4 times out of the last 6 years in that. So they've won it quite a lot of times of Man City. You know, but we will see what happens and all that. And like I said, we've got 3 ambitions. You know, the FA Cup isn't an ambition to us. Like I said on my video like yesterday and that, you know, it would be good for us to enjoy a good cup run, you know, like we did last season, because last season we beat Reading in the 3rd round, we beat Arsenal in the 4th round, you know, we progressed past Chelsea in the 5th round, but obviously, you know, we got knocked out by Wolves in the quarter final. What? Knocked out by Wolves in the quarter final. And that obviously the league's a priority for us as well, because we do want to get that top 4 this season. And I did confirm at the start of this season that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4 and that. So obviously, you know, we can get Champions League football secured. Solskjaer's come out and admitted that, you know, we need to find that consistency. And if we can find that consistency, you know, I think he's convinced that Man United can finish in that top 4. Also, the Europa League's a priority for us, because that's another route to Champions League football, and there's a chance we could win that. You know, don't forget, you know, we are into the knockout stages of the competition. You know, we won Group L and that, and, you know, we got an easy draw. You know, we got a Club Brugge and that, so hopefully, you know, that we can, you know, win the Europa League and that. But I'm really, really looking forward to the game tonight. You saw my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference yesterday. He did say that this was yesterday, that you know, he gave us some news providing Maguire, Lingard and Martial, and he says, you know, they've got until today to prove their fitness. Lingard's been out with illness. Martial missed the Wolves game with illness, but he should be back. Luke Shaw, I think, was also ill. I'd play Brandon Williams over Luke Shaw because Solskjaer now views Brandon Williams as his first choice left back. Harry Maguire, there was reports emerging out saying that, like he updated you, that he could miss the game against Man City tonight because reportedly he sustained a knock in the game against Wolves, and and Solskjaer said he had an element of concern regarding his fitness and that. But I think, Harry Maguire should be okay. I don't think his injury is too severe and that. So that's very, very good news. Obviously we know Pogba and McTominay are both out. So I think tonight in the midfield he'll either go with Fred and Matic, who I don't think complement each other. I think, you mainly see the best of Fred when he's playing alongside McTominay, because in quite a lot of games this season, Fred has played alongside McTominay, and I think, to be fair, they've actually, blended in very, very well. So our only midfield options at the moment is Fred, Matic, Pereira. Obviously, Fossil Mentu is being considered for that midfield role when he does come back from injury and that. But tonight in the midfield, we'll go with Fred, Matic, Fred, Pereira, Matic. That's that's what I presume that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will definitely go with in that. But but like I said, City are still regarded as the best team in England. Obviously, City won the league last season. They won the league the season before, so they have won back-to-back Premier League titles. And City were hopeful that this season, they were hopeful that they could, get their third title on the trot and that. We did that back in 2007, 2008 and 2009. We won 3 back-to-back Premier League titles. Don't forget City won the English domestic treble last season. They're the only team to finish on 100 points in one single season. But City this season have not performed to the standards as we should expect from them, and that also reflecting on the amount of money they've spent, just like my club, Man United. And Man United and Liverpool, have not spent nowhere near to the extent of what we've spent, or Man City have spent. Like I've said on my recent videos, Liverpool have been very, very sensible with their recruitment. And like I said, it's not always about spending big on players and, getting them Galactico players, because it doesn't always, guarantee you success in that. But, Solskjaer is aware, that, we're not in that commanding position that we should be in. City are strides ahead of us at the moment. Liverpool are strides ahead of us, and it's going to take us, quite a long time, to emulate to their level, definitely in that. But Solskjaer said recently he expects a successful 2020 with Man United, so he expects us to enjoy a better year this year than what we saw last year and that. Because for the vast majority of last year, it was very disappointing. And but we are in transition. It's a transition period. Solskjaer is aware of that. But yeah, so I think we've got to get 2 players in this January window. I think we've got to make signings in the summer as well. And let's see, what Man United can do. Let's see what we can do. So anyway, that's everything to update you with the transfer news and everything else. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always. I know I said I was going to be on this afternoon, but I've decided to do one this morning instead. But I will be on this afternoon sometime with another video. My match reaction for the City game won't be. I don't think it will be after the game tonight. I think it will be tomorrow sometime. My match reaction. So like I said, drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.